Hello. Hello, welcome to Shakeyburns with Muffy, Commander James, and our special guest today, Mary. Hello. Who, as you can see, doesn't give a shirt, but he's a great expert on Shakeyburns, on story, and on, well, he's the main gnomic, aren't you? I'll just sit and watch, just don't mind me. Okay. Tea? Oh yes, thanks. Okay. So today we have Shakespeare, Richard III, which is quite fortunate because today is Purim, time to think about evil kings and ministers and what happens to them in the end. Right, so we have his monologue from the beginning of the play, verse 241, I understand. Well, let's read it first. Was ever woman in this humour wood? Was ever woman in this humour won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What? I that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of her hatred by, having God her conscience and these bars against me, and I nothing to back my suit at all but the plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her, all the world to nothing. Hath she forgot already that brave prince, Edward, her lord, whom I, some 3 months since, stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? As sweeter and a lovely gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature, young, valiant, wise, and no doubt right royal, the spacious world cannot again afford, and will she yet debase her eyes on me, that cropped the golden pride of this sweet prince, and made her widow to woeful bed? On me, whose all not equals Edward's moiety, on me, that help and am unshapen thus, my dukedom to a beggarly dinner, I do mistake my person all this while. Upon my life she finds, although I cannot myself to be a marvel's proper man, I'll be charges for a looking glass, and entertain some score or 2 of tailors, who study fashions to adorn my body. Ah, what are you doing, Kitty? Adorn my body. Since I am crept in favour with myself, will maintain it with some little cost. But first I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass. Yes, and our super special guest, Persephone. Okay, that was nice. I'll be just watching you from over there. Don't mind me, I'm a bit busy with a cosmic flight. Whee! Okay. It's an amazing little monologue, and it's a very strange scene into it, very strange story. So, dear friends, those of you not familiar with Richard III, what happens there is Richard III, who is not yet king at the beginning of the play, but he will be the king. So for now he is called Gloucester. He is the villain, and the play opens with his monologue where he just explains how evil and villainy he is, and that it's his intention. It's not an accident, it's not a fate, it's not biology, it's his clear intention, pure and dance. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, and well, you can have a look at the royal tree and find it easily. We might post it on Shakeyburns contact group by the time you'll be watching this. Right. So we had the previous king, Henry VI. He had a wife, Margaret. They have lots of Margarets, but this is a very special Margaret. She is cool, and she is there in all parts of the play. I mean, all the big Henrys and Richards. She plays a big part like a prophetess. And they had a son called Edward, who was about to be next king, and he was married to Anne. And our dear Richard here killed both. He killed Henry VI. He killed Edward, which again he says here, in case we don't know, he says, I killed her husband and his father. And she knows it. Then another Edward is the king, and there are three brothers. Edward the king, Richard here, who is the youngest, and Clarence, or George is his name, Clarence is his dukedom. And Richard wants to be the king, so he has to get rid of Edward and of George or Clarence first, which he does. He's a very cunning guy, but not yet. So now we have a woman in this Humour wood. We have the funerals, and Anne is there, and he woos her right there at the funerals. And at first it's a very strange thing, so I recommend you to pause and to go and to read it or watch it if you haven't done it yet. So at first she really hates him. She says, oh, you killed my husband, you killed Henry VI, my husband's father, I hate you, you're evil. And he just talks to her a bit, and he says, would you like to marry me? Are you mad? You just killed my husband. Yeah, I know, but would you like to marry me? Oh, I hate you. Well, it wasn't really me who killed them. It was someone else. Oh, really? Yeah. And then he says, really weird, he does a strange, powerful thing. He's a true leader. He knows how to lead. He takes his sword out and he says, okay, Anne, if you hate me, you can kill me. That's the sword. Have the sword. That's my breast. Just kill me if you want to. That's your right. And she takes the sword, but she can't kill him. She's not all that evil. She just... Does she have a character? No. I mean, like a strong character. Maybe not really. And in the end, just a few lines after she says, "Oh, I hate you," she takes his ring and goes away saying, "Okay, I will be your queen." What a turn of heart, one may say, or maybe it's not that strange. Maybe that's one tragedy of Richard's, because it happens again later in the play, when he successfully kills his other two brothers, Clarence and Edward. He becomes a king in succession. Again, not straight away, because King Edward had a wife and he had children. It's a very famous story, you probably heard it. So he had two sons and a daughter, well, more children, but that's in the play. Two sons, one of whom would be the next king. And Richard here, he was the Lord Protector, because they were too young. They were, what was it, 9 and 12 years, I think, just boys. And he sent them to the tower and killed them. He killed those little boys to be a king. And then as he goes to a battle, which would be his final battle, really, as he goes to the battle, he meets Edward's wife, he meets his mother, who is very unhappy with him, and he meets Margaret, Henry VI's wife. And they all curse him, but he takes Edward's wife, Elizabeth, aside, and he talks to her, and he says, "Yeah, we all know I killed your husband, I killed my other brother, I killed your babies, but would you like to be my queen? No, not you. Would you like your daughter to be my queen? What have you got to lose? That way she'll be really happy, she will be my queen, and your line will succeed in her, and everyone will be happy." And crazy, but that wife, Elizabeth, even though she hates him, she knows she's really, well, imagine someone, the uncle kills your babies. Would you really like to have him as your daughter's husband? This murderer. Well, she says, "Oh yeah, okay, maybe it's a good idea." In the end, again, at first she's like, no, never. But in the end she says, "Yeah, okay." And again, he is really disappointed in people. He says, "Shallow, what a shallow woman." So it repeats again. It's not an accident. It's not just some magical out of character turn. It's something that happens. So again, you stop to think about it, and he is amazed. He's a villain. He should be the evil one. But his villainy, at least, is true. It's pure. It's strong. It's honest. He's honest in his villainy, in his evil ways. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to kill everyone. That's my plan. Oh, I'm so horrible." But that woman, these women, and other people too, they're just shallow. They say, "Oh, of course I hate you because you killed my husband and other people." But the minute he offers her to be the queen, she says, "Okay, why not?" Plays hard to get a bit, but in the end she just says, "Well, okay." So again, it's something for us to reflect upon, to say, am I like that? Would I disappoint Richard too? do I really have views? Do I really have a character? Or am I going to sell it for a bit of nothing? That's what we should ask ourselves. Oh, because it's easy to say, my view is this, my view is that, I believe this is good and this is bad. But if you try it, will you pass the trial? And so she leaves, and everyone is amazed. The audience is amazed, but Richard is the most amazed, because it was just over a few minutes from I hate you, die and burn in hell, to okay, I'll take your ring, I'll be a queen. What? Was ever a woman in this humor good? Was ever a woman in this humor won? What? I didn't expect it to happen. Crazy, crazy. And is he surprised? Maybe not really. Maybe he knows that women and people in general are like that. Many, not all of them, but many. Maybe. So he says, okay, I'll show you an extreme case. Someone who has every case to hate me. And then all this speech, more or less, most of the speech, he explained how unbelievable is Anne's choice. He said, I'm nothing. Her husband was everything. He was nice, he was good looking, he was amazing. I'm just nothing, and he's ugly. He's evil, he's a murderer. He has nothing. All he has is offering her to be the queen. Was ever woman's humor won? Ah, the music of it. I'll have her. But I will not keep her long. So again, he says, it's a game. It's not like I really love her. Because when he talks to her, he says, oh, if I killed your husband and Henry VI, that's because I love you so much. But that's just words. He doesn't care. It's a game, and he's curious about it. So how do you get someone who hates you to love you, or at least to marry you? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take little. It's testing the humanity, a little bit like what devil does. Yeah. Devil who comes to people and he says, okay, how much does it take to turn you to the other side, to twist your beliefs? Because we love to lie to ourselves, we love to compromise. We think that a little compromise is okay. Well, it isn't. Even a little compromise is a lie. So if she says a bit earlier, to take is not to give, when he says, would you like take the ring, be my wife? She's like, okay, you give me the ring, but it's not like I agree. And she takes the ring. But if you take the ring, then you agree. Simple. And so to him it was a test, and she failed, really. And so he says, I will not keep her long. And which is exactly what happens, because he kills her quickly. Again, if you look at the chart, then you can see that they had a son, I think a son. But in the play, he just kills her off very quickly. So she doesn't have time to enjoy being a queen. Why would he do it? Obviously, because she represents the other line of kings, even if indirectly. But her husband would be the king in succession, and even if he's killed, she's still there. She could claim throne, maybe. Well, he had to marry her just for these reasons. I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. So he talks about her as of a thing, not as a person even. You keep. You keep what? Keep a pet? A thing? What? I that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of her hatred by. Maybe that's the main reason why he was about to kill her anyway, because she's so shallow and he believes that she deserves it. If you're not a real person, if one moment you hate and or say you hate, and the next moment you compromise just because you see some profit in it, then maybe you're not a real person. And again, on one hand, we don't judge her because we know we aren't much different. Yeah, we don't judge her because we know we are not much different. At the same time, we can see that it kind of reflects Christian views on the end of the world and what happens. You are tested every second in your life. Every second of your life you are tested. Do you compromise or do you keep your character? And if you don't, then you're not a real person. And in case we don't know the details, he tells us he doesn't keep anything back. He tells us all, because he is amazed, and it's his idea to show the impossibility, the absurdity of the choices we make. Not just Anne. Anne is just us. Anne is just us, and Richard is that testing force. And we do make these crazy choices which no one in their right mind would think are reasonable, but somehow reason doesn't work here. I don't know. What works here? Intention, integrity. Being true to yourself, that is all, nothing else. Because if you're true to yourself, then it's stronger than this testing force. If you don't know who you are and what you really want, if you lie to yourself, then it will have you. So for instance, if she knew she was greedy, let's say, suppose if she admitted she wanted power and wealth and fame, she would be true, and maybe they would be a happy evil couple, Richard and Anne, and they would have happy evil offspring. Could be. But she's shallow. She claims to have feelings, beliefs, but you test them very lightly, and very quickly you see they're not true. Same as with the other woman, with the ex-queen, who very quickly, from cursing him to die, agrees to give him her daughter as a wife. In her heart extremist hate, with curses in her mouth. So he he knows he's evil, and he's not afraid of more evil. Again, it doesn't work out well for him in the end, because in the end of the end, spoilers, the next few seconds will be spoilers. In the end, as he goes to the battle, he has a horrible dream in which everyone he'd killed come to him and say, despair and die, we curse you. And there's no one to turn to. No one at all. So again, from the energetic plane, let's say, from karma or whatever you call it, is it a good idea to take a wife who has hate in her heart and curses in her mouth? Probably not, because it will affect you. We know that a man and wife are one body in Christianity, yeah? And we do talk Christianity here. So if your wife is hateful, then her curses will work. Same with mother's curses and blessings. Tears in her eyes, a bleeding witness of her hatred by having God, her conscience, and these bars against me. So again, what is it? He says, on one hand, he says, I'm not afraid of God. I know that God does not approve of what I do, but I don't care at all, because I'm so great and amazing. At the same time, he says, she knows, of course she knows that God doesn't like what she's doing when she agrees, and her conscience knows it. In a way, God is an external conscious, and conscious is internal, well, not God, of course, but internal conscious, internal force. She knows in her heart that she does very wrong agreeing to be his. Still she does it, crazy. And maybe he's so good and nice and amazing that it would be worth it. No, I nothing have to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks. Because he's not the king yet, he might not be, because there's still a lot to do, children to kill, brothers to dispose of. All he has, his dukedom, but really, he's just an ugly murderer. And yet to win her, all the world to nothing. So we see the circumstances, and we'll see more shortly. And yet he says, yet it works. What a giddy world. What a crazy world this is. You can bet all the world against nothing. Yeah, you would think you would win. That's the stakes. And yet to win her. So what is greater, all the world or nothing? What would the person choose, all the world or nothing? And anyone would say, oh, all the world, of course. But she chooses nothing, because he knows he's nothing. He's well aware of it. So Richard is an amazing character, pure in his villainy. Again, we'll say it again and again. He's pure in his villainy. He's honest to himself, and that's why we like him, or respect him at least. He might be evil, but he's honest in it. He's honest in when he says I'm ugly. He's honest in when he says I'm nothing. He's nothing. He's honest when he says I'm an evil person. He doesn't make any excuses. All the world to nothing. Crazy. Ha! What irony, what irony, he says. Ha! What irony. Hath she forgot already that brave prince? Again, in like 2 short minutes from you killed my husband and my husband's father to yeah. Hath she forgot already that brave prince Edward, her lord? So it's not just about having a short memory. It's not about changing your mind only. It's also about being disloyal. If you're true, if you claim to be loyal, Edward was her lord. Her loyalty had to be with him. And yet she betrays him. He might be dead, he might not be dead, doesn't matter. They were a husband and a wife. She belongs to him properly. Yeah, but oh, a crown. Yeah. Or maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he did it because he loved me. Oh, what a flattering thought. He killed my husband, but not because he's evil. That's because I'm so amazing. Mwah. Even that, of course, is just a masking thought. Well, in reality, it's just, oh, there's a prospect of being a queen. That's good. Because she used to be the queen, and she knows what it's like. We have lots of queens in this play. Margaret, Henry VI's wife, who walks around saying, I'm still a queen. And she behaves like a queen, even if, though she's an old beggarly woman now, she looks really awful. And now we have Anne, Margaret's son's wife, ex-wife now. And we had Elizabeth, the current king's wife, who's also the queen. They're all queens. But they're, as Margaret says, painted queens, not real queens. Because to be a queen is more than to be the king's wife, you know. The plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her all the world to nothing. Hush, hath she forgot already that brave prince, Edward her lord, whom I some 3 months since stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? That was in 1471, just around now, May the 4th. Yeah, so that was... oh, that's some nice round date, isn't it? Let's see, 2021, that's 1471, so that would be 0, 12 minus 7, would it be 550? 550 years exactly on May the 4th this year. Oh, a case to celebrate. Edward was stabbed by Richard. He says, and it's not like he died a long time ago, so it's just a memory from the past. No, it was just now, just 3 months ago, maybe even less. How could she? How could she be so vulgar? and he was brave, and I was just naughty, angry. A sweet and a lovely gentleman, framed in the uh, excess of nature, young, valid, wise, not outright royal. The spacious world cannot again afford. And he says he was everything, everything you could dream of. Not just the crown prince to be the king, but he was young, he was beautiful, he was clever, he was brave, he was sweet, kind, lovely. Where else in the whole world will you find a man like him? And as you can see here, again, he's honest. He doesn't say, oh, well, her husband was just a stupid little teenager who needs him. No, he is really honest. He's honorable in that way. He might be betraying and killing everyone he meets, but he is still honest to himself. While he might be plotting and lying to people around him, but he knows he's plotting and lying. And he knows that Edward was a nice person and fantastic and beautiful. He doesn't deny it. Same as he doesn't deny that will she yet debase her eyes on me that cropped the golden prime of this sweet prince? So we have the opposition here. Two princes, or two realities. Yeah, because again, here when we describe a person, we describe a universe this person represents. Each person represents their reality. Well, again, yeah. I know you can always say that some authors just talk about what they want to portray, and they use all characters to do just that, and other writers let their characters be in the character. But here we have a very clear image, and really it's about Doomsday. We have the Golden Prince, or Jesus. Again, we don't say that Edward was Jesus, no. But here, the choice we make is obviously related to this idea of Doomsday. We have our rightful husband, Jesus. Yeah. Again, if you don't like religion, you may put it in other words. We speak technically, we speak energetically. Dark side and light side, you name it. But it's just easier and more comprehensible to speak in the Christian terms, because we are brought up in this reality, whether we like it or not. I like it, so we use it. We understand that it's in our blood. Even if you don't belong to this religion, it doesn't matter. You still know a lot about it because it's major. Yeah? So, and we talk about European culture, again, mainly Christian culture. So we have the choice. We, the readers, are Anne. And we need to make our choice. On one hand, we have our rightful husband, Jesus. And again, we are already betrothed, we are already married to Jesus, to the light side. We belong to the light side. And it's all we can dream of. It's happy, it's bright, it's bountiful. But at the moment, just at the moment, it's hidden. Yeah? Because as we make the choice, there has to be an element of faith, trust. Trust more than faith. We don't know, maybe we'll get it, maybe not. But again, the dark side, Richard, also just makes promises. He's not the king yet, but he already promises a crown. Yeah? So, on one hand we have the golden prince Jesus, who is at the moment is hidden. On the other hand we have the devil, and he describes himself in that way. He uses the word. He says, I'm the plain devil with the dissembling looks. The golden prince has all the world. This guy has nothing. Hedgehog, as she calls him at the beginning. The hedgehog prince has nothing but words and promises and silver tongue, which again is what we connect with the idea of the dark side. The dark side has very little to offer and a lot to take from us, but it has silver tongue, and so it's difficult. It's really difficult and crazy. And we need to make our choice. And we already know the right choice. So it's really only the question of being true to ourselves. Hath she forgot already that brave prince, Edward, her lord, whom I, some 3 months since, stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? A sweet and lovely gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature, young, valiant, wise, not upright, royal, the spacious world cannot again afford. And will she yet debase her eyes on me, that crop the golden prime of this sweet prince? So again, all the words that describe the prince, golden, prime. On one hand, yeah, he died young, but then we say he is golden and he is prime, or he comes first. And made her widow to a woeful bed, which again, what repeats in the end, he made her a widow, and he brought woe to her life, and still, crazily, she chooses him in here. On me, whose all not equals Edward's loyalty. In other words, all that I have cannot even be compared to a tiny bit of who Edward was. Again, that's a crazy bit. The dark side speaks plainly. The dark side says, yeah, I can give you nothing. And we think they're kidding. We think they're joking. We don't like to believe it. So sometimes the dark side tricks us by giving us half lies, half truths. So there's a bit of truth in it, and we believe in it. Or sometimes the dark side tricks us by telling us the truth, like he said, yes, it was I who killed your husband and King Henry VI. He admits it, again, to her. And even with that, she agrees. Why do we make this crazy choice? Just for the minute pleasure? Hmm? On me that halt and am unshapen thus. Again, his reality is distorted. His own shape is distorted. We know King Richard III was crippled and had a hump, and in the play, one of his hands kind of gets dry and dead. So his hatred, his villainy is visible. So we have no excuses whatsoever. We can't say, oh, I didn't know he was the murderer. He says, I'm the murderer. We can't say, oh, we didn't know he was so evil because he looked so nice. No, he looks just what he is, evil. It's plain. It's very plain, very obvious. We have no excuses. It's only our own choice to make. My dukedom to beggarly dinar, which is the smallest coin. Again, it's the same as all world to nothing, the same here. My dukedom to a beggarly dinar, which means you could bet a small coin taken from a beggar against my whole dukedom that she would never agree. And still she agrees. My dukedom to a beggarly dinar. I do mistake my person all this while. And here he kind of self-ironic. He says, oh, of course he knows the real reasons, but he is playing again with it. He says like, maybe it's not that she's so greedy. Maybe it is really that I'm so beautiful. He knows it's not true, but he kind of plays with it. Upon my life, she finds, although I cannot, myself to be a marvelous proper man. Why would she say yes? Or probably because I'm so nice and handsome. Again, here he says it in a jest, but that's what we do in earnest very often. Oh, why? Why is this person so nice to me? Or can't be for personal reasons, must be me being so nice and amazing. We do that. And that's why we can see, again, why we can be interested in this monologue. Cats. So all that time he talks about what? Himself, her, maybe or mankind in general. How crazy we can be in our choices. But that's free will. You may not believe in free will, but that's your free will not to believe in it. You still have it. I do mistake my personal as well. Yeah. Albeit charges for looking glass. I'll buy a mirror and entertain some score or two of tailors. I'll hire 20 or 40 tailors to study fashions, to adorn my body. And he's like, if I'm to be a king and if women start taking interest in me, maybe I should really dress up a bit better, look at myself. Which again is kind of funny, because he's still ugly and evil. But if he dresses up nicely, then maybe. Again, we look at the person, we judge by his dress, by his cover. And of course, he didn't need a looking glass before, or tailors. He was a grey cardinal, he was the shadow manipulating people, but now as he's planning to be the king, and with each day he's closer to that, well, if I'm the king, then I should be presentable, I should look well, should look very good. So is he vain? Is he like, oh, I'll spend lots of money just to look nice? No, because he knows he's ugly. He knows it can't help him. But he knows human nature. He knows human nature, and so he knows that if he's dressed up like a royal person, he's more likely to be the king. Crazy. It's time to do it, but not because he enjoys it, but because it's all a part of the plan. Yeah? I'll be at charges for looking glass and everything, not because I'm vain and I think I'm so good looking, but because I know that's what I have to do. So entertainment sometimes can also be not for pleasure, but as a part of a plan. Could you believe it? I know it's true. To study fashions, to adorn my body. And again he says, I can decorate my body, but it's all external. He doesn't say to adorn myself, he says to adorn my body. Again, the external part, what is inside, is completely different, and he knows it. He's well aware of it. So he talks about body. Since I'm kept in favor with myself, we'll maintain it with some little cost. Yeah, well, I should invest in it a little bit. Again, I'm in favor with myself. In what sense? Does he mean that that he loves to look at himself in the looking glass and no, he doesn't care. All he cares is power. All he wants is to be the king. He doesn't care about his looks because he knows he is horribly looking. He knows no amount of tailors can make him look handsome. Well, all he can do is to decorate his body. Decorate a little bit. So, but I'm in favor with myself, not with my body. And as a part of it, I need to do it. Some little cost. So again, I'm not crazy about it. I'll just spend what I have to spend on it, just because I have to spend some money on tailors. But first I turn yon fellow in his grave. And he refers to the dead body. Again, it's amazing how he talks about decorating his body, body. And next line, he talks about the dead body in the grave. That should again give us a whiff of creeps, shivers, give us some shivers maybe. Because he knows, again, by talking about it, either he doesn't know and then it's a cosmic irony, but probably he knows. And in that case, again, because he's honest, he knows it. He knows that the body is nothing, and that's why some little cost, he doesn't want to be too keen on decorating himself, because he knows what's the point. If someone's going to quote unquote love him, that's only because of his power, not because of his looks. And again, we have this meeting of this evil guy who will be dead by the end of the play, and his victim, young fellow, the other king, turn in his grave, meaning into his grave, because it's funeral, but at the same time as we read it, he will turn in his grave knowing that Anne agreed to be the new queen. So even the dead don't like what he's doing. Again, it's very bad news for any reasonable person to know that God is against you, the world of the dead, the spirits are against you, or they don't like what you're doing. Still do it. So on one hand, it shows a very strong character who believes he can overcome all of it. At the same time, he plays with fire. He knows he plays with fire, we know he plays with fire, but he believes he can get away with it. We all do, we all think we can get away with it, whatever it might be. And for a while, that's nice, and it's working, but then at the last moment, again, as the other day, again it's like the Death Note. It is only the end that counts. But first I'll turn young fellow in his grave, and then return, lamenting to my love. Crazy. He's a murderer. He'll push the corpse into the grave, or make the corpse turn in his grave, and then he will return. So again we have connection, first talking about his body and decorating it, and talking about the dead body, putting it into the grave, and the word turn, the dead body, and return myself. So again we have this close connection between Richard and the world of the dead. Lamenting to my love. So again we think, oh, how horrible, how heartless. Yeah? Because lamenting, that's his plan. It's not his feelings, it's his plan. Lamenting, although he is not sorry about killing that guy, to my love. Again, love is a sarcastic word here, because there's no love at all. But that's his plan, that's his play, that's his role. That's Lamenting to my love, that's a plan. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass. Again, a strange ending, strange lines. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass. So what is it? Who is fair sun? Who is the fair sun? Is it the dead prince? Is it Anne? Is it God? Is it just the light side in general? Till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass. And we end talking about shadows and passing, which just after we talked about the dead body, it gets interesting. So he talks about looking glass, then he talks about grave, and now we kind of connect the two. He brings the glass, I may see my shadow. Again, what is my shadow? My death. My shadow as I pass, as I die. Crazy. So the whole play is really amazing, and it really brings us to some real villainy. And each time you think he can't get more evil, he does it. But it's a very strong energy, even though it's evil, and but still it's pure, it's strong, and other people just can't compete with him. Well, Margaret, King Henry VI's wife, can, because she remains true to herself to the end. But maybe no one else. And so it builds and builds, it gets darker and deeper. And with each time you can see how Richard just gets more and more tangled. With each betrayal, each step, it's harder and harder for him to come back. And he's not going to. It's not his plan. And once started, he just cannot stop. And he kills people just because he is in a bad mood. And he kills people even when there's no necessity. In a way he is struggling, but it's all his own doing. So this little bit, just this one little monologue, sort of reflects, shows us the whole play and how it goes and the character of Richard and the other guys. But most importantly, it's about ourselves. Most importantly, it asks, what is our choice? And we have an example here of Anne, who chooses Richard and becomes his queen when he is the king, and dies shortly because he kills her. He's not interested in her. So the dark side isn't interested in you, it's only interested in getting you, but not in you. Whether the light side isn't interested in getting you because you're already a part of it, and you can claim it any time. we have the word prodigality, which again makes us automatically think about the prodigal son. So we already belong, we're already a part of the light side, but it's in our willpower, it's in our right to decline it. Strange as it is, but if that is our choice, we can use it, and we can come back anytime we like, unless it's too late, of course. And the light side is interesting, is in us, and not in getting us. And the dark side is only interested in getting us for numbers, for a game. We are the game, as in hunting, and is as in playing. We are the game for the dark side, and once we submit, that's the end of it. That's the end of us. Right, I guess we can stop here, and we have Cumberbatch's Richard III from the Hollow Crown series in our video here at the Shakeyburns, Kentucky. So you can watch that, or you can find it somewhere else to watch. And of course you can read it if you haven't read it. It's a very, very deep play, very strong. Maybe we need to talk about kings and kingdoms and real tragedies, because these days it becomes a bit shallow. On one hand we say, yeah, you don't have to be a king to have a tragedy in your life, which is true, of course. But if it's a play, if it's a story, then we do need kings, because a king is not some, it's not about politics. It's not a king somewhere, it's us. And it does make the story much, much stronger when we talk about kings than if we talk about just people like you or me. We do need it. We do need this energy, this level. We need to keep the level. We need to connect with these high energy levels when the choices we make are really big. The stakes are really big, because that is true for us. We may not have an earthly kingdom to lose, but we have the whole kingdom, the whole universe of ourselves. And of course, when you look at a king and what happens to the king or queen and her kingdom, it's us, ourself. The king is the meanness of me, who I really am, in my right. And my kingdom is again my universe, my wholeness. And I learn to be responsible, learn to be a good king or queen for the kingdom of me, if nothing else. Right, well, I'll be happy if you write your comments, responses on this. I hope you enjoyed that. See you later. Bye bye.